Good evening. This is Kathy Castro. Thank you so much for logging in tonight. Welcome back to our Friday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time live stream. All right, friends, let me just make sure that we are good from the technical standpoint. Let me check. Okay, let me pull up the comments. Oh, great. Hi, John's Kitchen. Thank you for logging in again. And Uncle Henry, thank you so much for logging in. All right, let me go ahead and make sure we have everything going. Let's see. I really like the banner. All right, there we go. I love it. We've got our How to Make Marriage Work series for the month of September. And we are doing the Money Matters. I'm missing a letter S. Money Matters Budgeting 101 second session. We've got 4 tips for you, my friends. Is the audio okay? We're good with audio. Just want to make sure we see. Oh, thank you so much, Erica. I'm guessing it's just you, Erica. Thank you for logging in. You're so sweet. All right. So, we have Mr. Aristotle Castro joining us in a little bit, but before we get that started, I just want to say welcome to everyone. For those of you that are watching this on replay, my name is Kathy Castro. I cover lifestyle and live streams and pretty much everything under the sun, I think, and most especially our Harry Potter playlist that I'm fixing to post a video every week on Harry Potter. I really do love Harry Potter. And so we have a special playlist just for that. So a quick disclaimer, I am not a marriage counselor. I'm not a licensed life coach. I am a registered nurse by trade and I work in management. I have been married, although, for 19 years, going on 20 years next year. And the reason why we're sharing everything that we have been doing is because, it really worked well with us. Let me just make sure that I've got my screen up like that because it really works great for us and it helped us a lot. There's been a lot of trial and errors along the way and we just really want to share it with everybody. I know most of you will find a lot of other content creators there or books or even audiobooks that will give you tons of advices on how to make your marriage work or how to make your relationship work, right? If you are not married. So basically everything that you will learn from today and everything that you have been learning from the past few Fridays are pretty much a compilation of everything that we read, everything that we heard, and everything that we absorbed and accepted from the elders out there that have been giving us good advices. I know it has been, it's been that long, Uncle Henry. Yes, it's been 19 years. It's been crazy. And so just a quick recap. The first Friday of September, we talked about communication, and communication with your spouse is very, very important. So we talked about all those tips. And if you missed that, don't forget to go back into that playlist of everything about marriage, I believe so, playlist. It's on my channel. But you want to go through that. In that way, it'll help you lead to today's session. Because if you missed out on that, then it may not make sense why we got to this point of our marriage stage. So we talked about communication, how to improve communication. And I forgot my wedding ring. We were kind of rushing, getting dinner done and everything. So we talked about communication on that first Friday. The second Friday, we talked about love languages. And that was straight from the teachings of Dr. Gary Chapman. And for me, my love language is physical love language. So I like hugs and just that physical touch. I love that. And it gives me the affirmation of love. So we talked about that. Last Friday, which would have been the third Friday, we talked about Budgeting 101 Session 1, where we talked about how to do your income and everything. So make sure you go back to that session. It is considered as a mini podcast. And so you don't literally need to be watching us on the screen. You can listen to us while you're driving in the car, or while you're washing dishes or folding the clothes or whatever house chores you are doing. So for tonight, we are so excited to continue on our Money Matters with How to Make Marriage Work. Session two, part two, session two, budget 101, session two, whatever you want to call that. So we are going to go ahead and continue on. And with that, I will bring my partner in life, Mr. Aristotle Castro. He is not a certified life coach or marriage counselor either, but he is my financial guru. He has been doing our budgeting, and he's done that beautifully. We've got multiple investments. He was able to diversify our investments, and he is also a licensed real estate agent for the state of Texas. So it might be different for your state, wherever you're watching from, but at least you'll get the gist of it. So let me go ahead and bring up Mr. Aristotle Castro. There you go. All right.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, say hi to everybody.
I hope you guys are doing a great. You guys are having a great time, and good to be back again with you guys. Thank you,
Right.
guys.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So I did go back to everything that we've talked about for the past few Fridays. And so last Friday, we talked about budgeting 101, income,
Yes.
and yada, yada. And now we are up to this point now that we're going to be talking about our session number two. So the 4 tips that we're going to be sharing with you is why upgrade. And we're going to explain why upgrade. We're going to expand about that. And then fixing your credit. Very, very important. Credit card hacks. That's my personal favorite.
Right.
And your road to buying your first home. So if you have any questions about our session tonight, let me go ahead and move this because I really want this showing. Yeah, there you go. If you have any questions for tonight, go ahead and feel free to type it on the chat box. I can't speak properly. Go ahead and type it in on the chat box. And if you are watching this on replay, go ahead and drop your comment and I will respond to you as soon as possible. So let's talk about why upgrade, right? What are we upgrading? So, last night, Mr. Castro, we talked about upgrading furnitures, right? Big expenses.
Right.
Last week we talked about small little expenses. We talked about uh, you know going to the garage sale and just buying little things that you truly don't need. So now we're going to talk about big expenses. Let's start off with furnitures, right? So I know you help out a lot of families that are buying their first home or maybe upgrading to a bigger home. And what would you give us an advice about purchasing those big items when it comes to your budget and your financial status? So maybe talk about sofa set or dining set or anything like that.
Yes. If you just bought a house, and you're transitioning from an apartment to or renting a house to buying a home, buying your first home, I would recommend, if your furnitures are still in good shape, just maintain them, and you reuse them
Mhm.
until as long as you can use them. My recommendation is, if you don't really need it, I mean, why would you buy a new one? Why would you just dispose the one that's still working? So, and that can save you a lot of money, actually. If you're gonna buy one, if the one that you're using are, if they're not in good shape anymore, I would recommend you saving first, and then buying it cash, instead of owing it, instead of putting it in your credit card, or putting it or putting it on your credit. So that's my recommendation.
I know that is very true because and I always see it on like those, what do you call those Sunday newspapers and even
Uh-huh.
on commercials and things like that. And the furniture stores are so enticing because they will give you like great deals, like zero interest rate, or yeah, you don't pay any interest for like 12 or 24 months, right?
Right.
Or you don't have to even make your first payment up to, until the 6th month of you purchasing that furniture. And you always see that during Labor Day, Memorial Day, Christmas, or whenever there is a family gathering. It tends to be more prominent where they're enticing people to upgrade their furniture because they know that it's going to be a family gathering. It's going to be you need to have some type of a new furniture that you can probably show off with your family members. Not sure
Right.
about now because of the COVID situation, right? I mean, even though the restrictions are loosening up, you still have to be very, very careful when you are setting up family gatherings. So I wouldn't invite the whole, clan to come to your home, and then there's your good reason for you to uh, upgrade your furniture, right?
Right.
So, and I remember with us, we have been using the same furniture sets of furnitures from, oh my gosh, it's from 2002, right?
Right.
We have our first sofa set. It's a leather sofa set, and it still works fine until now. And I guess not unless your furniture set is like battered and visibly soiled and just really, really worn out. We wouldn't recommend you upgrading it, because there are other priorities, expense priorities that you really need to focus on versus keeping on upgrading and upgrading and upgrading your different sets. Or even like, for example, the TV, right? There's
Yes.
always a new TV set that comes up. The bigger, the better.
Really.
It's
Yes.
just the curvier, the better. We have those curved up television sets, right? It is crazy. I
Right.
think the TV set that we have right now, I mean, we've had it for years too. We haven't really upgraded. I mean, it's good to be watching TV and watching movies that you like in a great big TV, but if you don't need to upgrade every year, then you really don't need to. So, absolutely. What about upgrading cars? I know last week we talked about upgrading cars, and what is your recommendation about upgrading cars or vehicle?
You know what? If your car is still in good shape, like just like the furnitures, just maintain them and pay them off. Pay them off, and if it's paid off, just use it as long as you can. Maintain it, tune it up, use it as much as you can. And if you're really planning to buy a new one, I would highly recommend paying up the old one first instead of trading it in uh, with uh, with if you still owe money on it, instead of rolling over the your existing payments with a new one. So pay it off before you trade it in. If you're really that excited to purchase a new one. But I highly recommend you to, if it's still in good shape, just tune it up and just maintain it and use it until it falls apart. And I'm all about saving, and investing. So that's my recommendation with that.
Right, right. And we also talked about, yes, last week, as soon as you um, purchase a car, as soon as you get it out of the dealership, the value of that car automatically goes down. Hi, Christopher. Thank you so much for logging
We
in.
appreciate it.
Welcome back. Right. As soon as you get the car out of the dealership, it automatically decreases
Right,
value, right?
right,
And another thing that I've noticed is that this is me. Don't be offended if you get offended. But this is my opinion. I feel like people are so used to having a car note, a car payment. It's like as soon as I finished the car note on this car, because I've already paid it off, right? Then I need to upgrade. I need to get a new one because now I have $400 vacated from my monthly expense. I don't know what to do with
right.
this one. So I have extra money and I can go ahead and buy another car. I don't understand why people do that. I mean, you've got an extra $500, $400, $500 that that now you can invest in other portfolios, but yet you just want to focus on getting another car, maybe trading it in, to a newer model or a newer car. So I agree with you. You don't really need a new car. Use up whatever you have right now
Uh-huh.
and maintain it. Get a good mechanic and maintain it. You got to make sure your car is reliable. So that is an excellent advice. There's also other people that we know of. They just they end up racking up their expenses, their monthly expenses, and buying big cars. And we're talking about cars that may perhaps even be more expensive than your house.
Right, right.
And they end up working a lot. Last week we talked about making sure that you are minimizing your expense, and that way you have good quality time that you can spend with your family. But here you have car payments that is more expensive than your house. You're paying about $1,000 or $1,500 for a car note that you don't need. That is a mortgage payment, right?
It
So
is.
something that you don't need, and you end up working a lot. And we're talking about, we know people that works 2 to 3 jobs, no days off, so that they can just pay off their expensive lifestyle, is what I would say. So that is something that we do not recommend. That will definitely put a strain in your marriage, because basically you're not spending time together as a husband and wife. You don't know each other,
You
because you
don't.
don't get home. You basically just go home and sleep, but you don't have that good quality time where you are having that. Remember about our dinner conversation meeting? You don't have that because you're always at work. You're exhausted when you get home, and all you want to do is sleep. So that will put a strain in your marriage. And so that's
Yes.
the reason why we're doing this type of session, because it works for us, having that good quality time, decreasing our financial liabilities, and we're having to spend good quality time. It enhances, it encourages, and it just makes our relationship as a husband and wife a bit better. Not perfect though, but I want to say perfect, but we're not perfect, but so much better. We know each other.
Yes.
Okay.
Give me a second. Give me
Anything
a second. Let
else?
me open the door real quick.
Okay. Yeah. So that's exactly what happens with if you are working a lot. So finding that quality time and making sure that you are spending good quality time with your family is
Oh, I'm
very,
sorry
very
about that.
important.
I had to
That's
open the
okay.
door. It's kind of hot in here. It's getting warm.
It's kind of hot in here. That's not a good
It's
song.
getting hot in here.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go on to. Is there anything else that you want to cover about upgrading and reasons why we're not recommending a lot of upgrades?
Well,
Anything else?
cars are like so they were one of our biggest mistakes back in the days. So I would highly recommend you buying the most affordable cars within your budget, and don't be. I mean, maintain them. Use them cars now these days. They can last for about at least 10 to 15 years. Use them as much as you can, and don't invest too much money on it. Instead of investing on a car, invest it in real estate, stocks, whatever, anything that appreciates, that you can use it towards your retirement, or that can make any passive income for you and your family. I would highly not recommend uh, spending too much money on it.
So there's a comment right here. So you are still responsible for the car, even if you want to trade. Yes, absolutely. You are responsible for the car, even if you want to trade. We're going to talk. That's a good point about leasing. So, yes, you are responsible for the car, even if you want to trade it in. Basically, whatever balance you have on your existing car right now that you're going to trade it in, that balance is just going to roll over, and it's just going to add to your new car balance, vehicle balance, whatever that amount may
Correct.
be on
Correct.
the new car. So another comment here is that, so if that is the case, then we should lease. That is a big no-no. The recommendation for leasing a car is absolutely no. I will recommend, Dave Ramsey covered this topic on his, what was that book? It was Money Makeover, I think. Money Makeover. He's got an audio book. I was just
Uh-huh.
listening to that this past week. What is your take on the on leasing cars?
Leasing cars. I mean, if it's if it makes sense with your business, if you're writing it off, it will probably work for you. But if you're just a regular employee, you don't own a business, you don't write it off on your taxes, I would highly recommend you buying one and paying it off and use it as long as you can.
That's for
I think,
leasing.
huh?
For leasing a car.
If it's yes, what I'm saying is, if you're leasing a car, if I mean if it makes sense with your taxes, if you're writing it off in your business, then it makes sense. You know, I would recommend. I mean, you can do that. But if you're just an employee,
Hmm.
and you can't write it up on your taxes, I would recommend you buying one and paying it up and use it for a long time. Leasing wouldn't make sense for you
Gotcha,
because
gotcha.
you're gonna be leasing forever. And plus, I think they only give you up to like 10 to 11,000 of unlimited mileage.
Right,
I mean,
right.
limited mileage.
Limited mileage,
Yes.
right,
So
right,
anything beyond that, then you have to pay for the mileage.
right. So
Yes.
you have to look into the math. So look at the monthly leasing for leasing payment for that car. You multiply that, but how long are the leases? Like 12 months or 24 months? Like 2 years,
Uh,
I think.
I think it depends. It depends to the contract that you sign up.
Right. So if you
So
add that up and you multiply it, the amount that you'll be paying for the leasing is really more than the value of the car, then might as well just go ahead and buy it. But not unless you're recommending, not unless you are an entrepreneur, you have a business that you can write it off, then
yes.
that would make sense from the taxation standpoint. Very good. That's right. Thank you for that question, Uncle Henry. That's a very, very good question. So, anything else? Hi, Christelle. Thank you for logging in. All right. Anything else about cars? Oh my gosh, we have so many stories about upgrading vehicles, upgrading cars from our personal experience and also from people that we know that is just, I don't know, it just feels like you buy those big cars and it feels like they automatically have a bathroom inside because you can basically live in it. But that's not the case, right? Because you become a slave of that car. What happens is
Exactly.
you work to pay the expenses, you work for the car. So
Make
your
sure make
money,
sure make sure it's within your budget.
exactly. You
So yeah,
have to make sure it is within your budget that you can afford that car.
exactly.
We are at a stage right now that maybe in our younger years, we feel like we're flashy. We got to have good cars. We got to have flashy brand cars. But that was when we were younger, when we didn't know any better. But now we know the value of the cars. There's no reason for us to impress anybody. I think that's one of the important things. You don't need to impress anybody. You go to a party, nobody sees your car. Everybody's inside the party place, right? Nobody sees your
Hmm.
car. But and a lot of people, like the financially educated people, they see you, they know where you work, they see you driving a big car, they exactly know your financial score, your financial grade, just because of that. So it's better to be, I think, within your means, what you can afford with vehicles. We know like physicians or doctors, MDs that are very good with our living, and we know that they get paid good. They have a good income, and they drive this raggedy van. You wouldn't think that they're doctors. So it just depends on your priority. But like Mr. Castro said, if it works in your budget, if it makes sense with your taxation, and if you have a business where you can write it off, I think it'll be a good idea to do leasing or to even buy those big branded cars.
Right, right.
All right, so we are moving on to fixing your credit. Again, these topics are a financial piece, a financial burden. If it's not in great standing, it is going to be a financial burden, and it's going to cause some tear in your marriage relationship. I think on the first week or second Friday, we showed the percentage of divorce rates and the reasons for divorce, and the financial piece is over there. And understandably, no denying that that is could very well be one of the main reasons why a husband and wife drifts apart, leading to divorce. There's financial infidelity. They don't understand each other.
Hmm.
They're in debt and everything. So among other things, right? All right, fixing your credit. So how do we get started with that? I'm going to start it off with probably your recommendation if you are trying to buy your first home. What is your recommended credit score here in United States? Let me just go ahead and break it down, babe. Here in
Go
United
ahead.
States, you have to have, I think in every country anyway. Here in United States, you have to have a good credit score for you to be approved on any purchases, big purchases, most especially that you're wanting to spend. So, if you're buying your first home, what is your recommended credit score for you to be approved for a potential loan for that home?
You know what? If you're buying a house, I mean, I would highly recommend you having the best credit score, and that way you can save a lot of money on interest rate. So, but you the minimum nowadays to be approved to get approval is about 620, or maybe sometimes less. But you don't want to do that because the lower your credit score is, the higher is your interest rate. So it's a uh, having a good credit. It's a good reflection for your financial, and also it is and credit's very important now these days. Like car insurance companies, when you purchase insurance with them, they always pull your credit. They want to make sure that they always base it if you're high risk, or or if you have a good standing with your credit. So it's very important. Even sometimes applying for a job, this big corporation, they also pull your credit, and they base your good status with that.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
buying a home, I would highly recommend you to have. You can have 800 something credit, the excellent credit, the better for you in financial. You can save a lot of money on interest rate, especially right now. Now these days, this is like the highest in the lowest in the east. I mean, these the lowest in history. The I mean, if you have a good credit right now, you can probably get a two something percent, 2.5%, if you have an excellent credit score.
Wow, that's amazing. 2% interest rate on mortgage, right? That's
Yes,
amazing. I think when we first started with our home purchases, it was about 6% at that time, about a
at that
decade
time.
ago. Yeah, and we thought that was already good, right?
Yes,
So right now
at
it's
that time it was good. Yes.
hmm. So with so you said, did you say about 600 something for starters to get a
Six.
good interest rate?
Well, the minimum qualification is about 620
Hmm.
to get an FHA loan. But
Right.
to be approved for a conventional loan, you have to have at least 685, around that much,
We're
to
going to
get a
talk a little
conventional
bit
loan.
more about the different loans, I guess, when we get to that section. So, what would you recommend? So, if you have a client that, let's just say, we're just in France, we're basing it off of buying a home property. I think that's a very good baseline to see where you even qualify, right? Or what do you need
Uh-huh.
to do to fix your credit?
Yeah.
So, if you have a client or clients that, let's just say, a couple, right, and their credit score is maybe, let's say 500 is their credit score. What would you recommend for them to do to get to that point up to 620 where they can get approved for a loan?
Well, first of all, if their credit is that low, I mean they need to there's got to be something wrong with their credit. They're probably not paying their payments on time, or they have bills that they haven't paid yet. So there is an existing problem in there, or an issue with their credit. So in that case, sometimes we highly recommend them to go through a credit repair company. In that way, they can consult with them, and they'll be able to eventually raise up their credit score.
How long does that usually take if you're gonna be going with a credit repair company?
Well, it depends. It depends with your situation. Um, it just they have certain criterias and program that they do, which they're able to they're mainly gradually ask you to pay up, you know, your the credit pay
The
whatever,
balances, uh-huh.
like the balances
Right.
that you owed on it. Um, you have to gradually knock those out and for your credit to go up.
So if they're not going with those type of agencies, what would you normally just recommend to them to fix their credit to get them to up where they need to be? If it's not really that bad, right? Let's just say they're at 580.
Uh-huh.
Where the
Well,
what
I
would
would
be
ask them to. I would ask them. There are some website company now that you can use. They can pull their credit, and they can. I mean, if they can call those companies directly. Some people they have like medical bills issues, so they can call s- those companies where they turn over the
right,
um, the money that they owe,
right.
like a collection agencies or something.
Yeah,
So they
yeah.
can negotiate it with them and
Mhm.
ask them their situation. I mean, they can tell and pay up those balance, and that way it will they will go away from the records.
That's a very good advice. Because sometimes you don't even know because it's been charged off accounts
Uh
that you
huh.
don't even get letters anymore and you don't know. So once you pull your credit, then it shows up that, oh, by the way, there's this membership at a gym that you didn't pay off like a decade ago, and it's still
Right.
showing
Right.
up in your credit and it's holding you down to purchase any big purchases that you want to do, such as buying a home,
Right.
right? So that's right. That's right. And then basically on a day-to-day basis, what would be your recommendation to make sure that um, we are that you are taking care of your credit?
Well, mainly just paying up your bills on time. That can also
Yes.
help your credit score. So pay your bills on time, and manage your organize your bills, and make sure you're you're paying them all on time.
Right.
So that can, and I would recommend pulling your credit like at least once a year or twice a year. In that way, you would know that you have a good status with your credit score.
Right, right.
Right.
Exactly. And we talked about that last week and making sure that you have your income and liabilities pulled up and written down if that process works for you. I know it works for us or it worked for us.
Right.
Writing down your income and liabilities, and that way you know your standing on your liabilities. You should have, an outline and a good understanding of your monthly bills. And with that, you got to make sure you're paying off your liabilities timely every month. So if you don't do that, then there you go. We have, it can cause, relationship rifts in your household because now the collection agency is calling you. So it's always better to maintain your credit standing together as a husband and wife. In that way, we don't have that tension at home.
Right.
So
Right.
Yeah, very good. Good. Thank you so much for those tips. Those are very, very valuable. And for those of you that are listening, Aristotle Castro deals with a lot of family members that are not family members, families or new couples or individuals that are not up to that status yet where they can purchase homes. And if you're not wanting to buy a home, you may think that, I don't really need to fix my credit because I'm not planning to buy a home. I'm just having fun. I'm single, yada, yada. Or, we're renting a house or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's still good to know your credit score standing. And it just comes to being accountable with your accountability of being an adult. You have your financial responsibilities as well as being an adult. You got to make sure that that is part of your process
Right.
from the personal standpoint, that you are aware of your financial obligations and that you are making your deadlines to make sure that you are paying them off. um, all right. So I think that is it for fixing your credit, right? All right. What about, I want to jump into, we're talking about credit, credit, credit. And I forgot to change our banner because I have this one. Yes, I forgot to change our banner. We have that one, and then we have this one, which is how to fix your credit. And then we have this one, credit card hacks. This is my personal favorite. So what we're going to teach you are the ones that works for us. Now, a quick disclaimer, if you are, and you know yourself, if you're the kind of person that you know that you can't handle credit cards, which means you can't, credit card is so magically drawn to you where you just keep swiping it and you don't know how to pay it off, then this section is not for you.
Right.
Okay. So you will only be successful in the credit card hacks if you have self financial discipline
Discipline.
in making sure that you can handle this responsibly in an adult way. So that's a quick disclaimer
Correct.
there. So, personally, what do we do with credit card hacks? What we do is we choose about one or two credit card companies where right now I think we're using three credit card companies where we can benefit from. What does that mean? So, for example, we use a Sam's Club card. It's actually a MasterCard. And we use that throughout our monthly expenses, whatever we're paying off, like electric bill, gas, water, groceries, and things like that. We use that card every month and we pay it off every month. And that's
Right.
another factor that can help your credit score, right? Paying it off
Correct.
every month, paying it off. So technically, we don't accrue interest rate. We don't accrue any other interest rates or whatever charges they have because we
Right.
pay it off every month. You have to consider that as a debit card where it's not a privilege for you to have a balance rolled over every month. The main point is paying it off every month. So I think we probably accrue anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 on a monthly basis on expenses with our household that we put on that card and we pay it off. We earn points, cash points or cash back, I think is what they call it, right? We earn points, and at the end of the year, we use that. We retrieve our cash back, cash points from Sam's Club, and normally with that average of anywhere from, let's just say, 3,000 a month of monthly expense that we use that card for, you multiply that by 12. How much is that? Like 36,000, right? About $36,000 a year.
Around that much, yes.
Yeah,
Around that.
that we
That's a good.
spend, that we use for that card, paying it off on a monthly basis. We don't get a whole lot, but it's still significant. So on a yearly basis, we usually get about $1,500 cash back from that credit card company. And we use that for vacation expense money, or normally it's absolutely, we actually use that for vacation expense money. It can be our pocket money for eating out or for our hotel stay or whatnot. It does help out. And that's a free cash. Now, like I said, this is not going to work if you don't have any discipline using credit cards. So we will not recommend that if you cannot control yourself with that. Another credit card that we use is actually the ones that gives you mileage. So we use Chase,
Right.
and those are the types of credit cards. And I know you can research YouTube and go ahead and research up credit card hacks. You will find tons of content creators that go over credit card hacks. Again, this is only for disciplined people, financial responsible, and making sure that they can pay it off on a monthly basis. So for the Chase mileage type of credit cards, there is a minimum spend that you need to use up the credit card. I think for Chase is about $4,000. So one of the months that we would use Sam's card, we didn't. We used Chase instead. And so there's a minimum spend of $4,000 within, I think, 3 months or 6 months, and then you get your like 70 or 75,000 miles or 100,000 miles that you can add up. If you are wanting to travel, you got to go to Chase website, and you can go ahead and look up point system there, where you can go on a cruise, or you can travel in an airline or hotel stays. I think we have not used it yet because we're new in that process. We were supposed to use it going to Europe next year, but it just depends on the COVID situation. There's another one that we use up is American Express. That
Right.
one is a that one is I think there's $1,000 minimum spend for American Express, that you have to utilize that card for that much at a minimum spend within 3 months or 6 months, and then you get however many points for hotel stays. So again, in one of the months, we used up $1,000 worth of some of our monthly expenses and used up the American Express, and we gain however many points. So I think about 2 months ago, we went on a vacation. If you haven't seen that vlog, go ahead and check it out on my channel. It's the family vlog, COVID situation, something. And we went at a beachfront hotel. We stayed there for 4 days or 5 days, I believe. So,
Hmm.
where we would normally spend anywhere from $3,500 to $4,000 of money just to stay at that beachfront hotel. And because of the points that we accrued using the American Express, we only paid, I think, $200 for the duration of this stay. So that is an awesome, awesome credit card hack process that we discovered. And again, we are not promoting that you open up all the other credit cards, different credit cards that you can get your credit card hacks. You still have to make sure that you are able to pay them off on a monthly basis, that you have the self discipline to make sure that you know how to work it out. And most importantly, your spouse should agree on that decision, on that process, because you don't want to be doing that without the knowledge of your spouse. And then there you go. That's going to cause a drift. Whatever is enjoyable for you should be enjoyable for your spouse as well.
Right.
So, is there anything else on credit card hacks? And you're the one
No,
that
I
started
think
that, all
you
the exams.
you're thoroughly you cover it thoroughly. So um, it's it will it will really benefit you. I mean, it can make a lot of difference. It can save you a lot of money with the mileage and the cashback. They have been working awesome for us. So we would. I mean, if you can utilize, like Kathy said, you have to be really really disciplined though to for you to benefit
Mhm.
to be beneficial for it. But if you can't discipline yourself by paying up the amount of money that you purchase within that month, I wouldn't recommend it.
Mhm.
So it won't benefit you. It will benefit the credit card company instead.
I think there was also a time, oh, we were so bad. This was a time in our younger years that we would receive what do you call those? What do you call those, babe? It's like a check.
Oh,
Um
it's the zero balance for like
Yeah, the zero
24
balance
months,
period.
36 months.
Yeah, yeah, that
Yes.
one. I think
We
we
did
did
that
that
few
too.
times. We did that few times instead of, like you said, facing the reality, paying off your debt. We would borrow and then try to pay off our debt with that. It never worked out.
You never really you never really paid off a debt. You just transferred the
We
debt.
just transfer the debt, and then now within you won't be able to benefit that 36 months, because right up before that 36 months you'll be looking for another check to pay off, to pay to pay to anticipate the interest rate that you will be paying with that credit card company.
Right, right.
Yes.
So the secret is making sure that you have financial fidelity and that you are able to pay off your monthly obligation for credit cards and any other big balances. The goal, the very goal, is to pay them off completely and be
Yes.
debt free. Are we debt free? Yes, we are. So, and that's the reason why we are sharing this with you. If you are, especially if you're watching on replay, think about it. This is not going to work if you're, and I'm going to be blunt, this is not going to work if you are close minded. If you're not facing the reality, you're not going to get anywhere. You don't want to work for the money. And this is Mr. Aristotle Castro's saying all the time. You don't want to work for the money. You want to make money work for you. There's
Exactly.
multiple, when you get to that stage, when you're able to really get a good balance of your financial situation, then you're going to get to that stage where you can diversify your portfolio. You can look at other streams of income, and you all have heard of other people say, like financial gurus. You have heard them say about making money while you sleep. And I'm not talking about networking companies or other. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about traditional way.
Right. Right.
Making money while you sleep from your investments. So I just want to say that. All right. Anything else on credit card hacks? I think we covered that pretty good. Um, right.
Correct.
So let's go on and move on to the last topic for the budgeting 101 session is your road to buying your first home. So, what are some of your tips, into just a few tips and steps to get you started on how to buy your first home?
Buying your first home is very important. Instead of renting, I would go back to going back to your credit. The better credit. I would highly recommend you to have the best of the best. If you have an excellent credit, it will save you a lot of money, long term.
Hmm.
And most of the time, this is my opinion, that your first home will dictate your financial future situation. If you, I highly recommend my clients to purchase their first home, to make sure it is affordable within their budget. Because first, you don't wanna work for just for the home. You don't want to be slave by anything. You want to make sure that it is within your budget, and you want to make sure you're able to save at the same time. So, and buy a home within your budget, and that way you can still leverage within your financial. You can still invest, and also you don't have to work. I mean, you don't have to work more than one job or two jobs just to pay off your mortgage. I wouldn't highly recommend that. So I always recommend my clients to make sure buy a home within your budget. So
So what is the first step that they need to do? Do they need to look for a house first, or what should they do?
um, they you need to I mean, take check your credit, make sure you have a good credit, you have an excellent credit, and hire a professional, hire a realtor that can help you out, that knows the market, that knows the area, the school system, and also that knows the numbers that can help you out financially as well. You don't want an agent that's just they just want their commission. No, you don't want that. So you want, because you're investing something. It's probably the biggest investment you will ever invest in your entire life. So you want to make sure you hire a professional that can really help you out.
Mhm, mhm. And then how will they know what the amount of home that they need to be looking for?
Well, if you hire a good, you can talk to your agent, if you want to buy a resale home or a brand new home, and ask your agent to show you few communities, few homes if it's resale homes, and tell them what your budget. Get well get get your get pre-qualification, get an approved loan within your budget, and ask your agent to find you a home within, to find the best possible communities, and also a home for that budget.
Okay. So
Yes.
how do you get the pre-qualification loan? Do you go to your bank or do you go you usually people go to their banks, right?
Yes. If you can go to your bank, you can get an approved loan with your bank. That probably they probably have lowest, the best possible interest rate with them, because they're big banks. But most of the time, your agent, they can also recommend their own um, reputable loan officer that they're using. I have few that I'm using,
Mhm.
that I recommend to my clients. So yeah, so that's also part of this purchasing a house. So we want to make sure you get the best possible interest rate. And going back to your credit score, you need to have an excellent credit score in order
Mhm.
for you to get the best possible, to save a lot of money on it.
Mhm. Mhm. All right. That's very good because you don't want to be starting to look for a house. And that's what my mindset was before when we were starting to invest for homes, right? So we were like, for me, I want to go ahead and keep shopping because it's so enticing as a woman, as a wife, you are so enticed with the staging of the homes that are out in the market. And you keep browsing and browsing and browsing and browsing, not knowing that you truly cannot afford these type of houses or the amount of homes that you are looking,
Right.
right? So it is important that you have a pre-approved loan first, and that way you are not wasting your time looking for or shopping for a home for your family when you can't even meet the amount of that home. So it's very important that you have a pre-approved loan, and that way you know where you stand, and then you can start shopping. So Mr. Castro is recommending to absolutely get a good realtor. So if I'm shopping for a home, I want to buy a home, how much do I normally have to pay a realtor if I want to buy a house and I'm hiring you, for example? How much do I have to pay you? What's your fee if you're helping me out?
Here in Texas, if you're a buyer, you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay the commission of the broker or the agent. Seller
Oh.
always pay for the commission.
Mhm.
So although you don't have to pay the agent, which is good for the buyer, you need to get the best possible agent that can help you out, because, like I said, it's a big investment. You don't want someone that would just that doesn't know what they're doing. You want
Right.
to you want to hire a knowledgeable agent that can represent you within the best of your interest.
Right. That is very important. I didn't know that. So, well, yes, of course I do. But I think it's good for our viewers to know that if you are a buyer, You do
Mhm.
not need, here in Texas, I don't know about the other states and the other countries, but if you're a buyer, you don't need to pay your realtor to help you find
Correct.
your home. But if you're selling your home, then you have to pay your realtor. There's a commission fee or something to when you are selling your home. But if you're buying, you don't need to
Need
pay
to
the
pay
realtor.
commission. Yes.
So thank you so much for clarifying that. So I think, from the gist of it, we don't really want to go into deeper into road to buying a home. Did you want to touch base real quickly on FHA or conventional loan? Just a really, really quick, maybe one sentence liner about the difference of an FHA and conventional loan.
Um, FHA loan and conventional. The difference is if you're putting down like 20%, you're gonna have what they call PMI, private mortgage insurance. So if you're putting down less than 20%, you're gonna have the PMI. For with FHA, that stays for the life of the loan. So in the future, you're gonna have to refinance it to convert it to conventional loan.
Mhm.
So with conventional loan, once you have 20% equity, it goes away from the. You just have to call your lender, and they will take it off from your from your amortization.
Mhm.
Yes. So and the qualification, like I mentioned, with FHA, yeah, if you have below 680 of credit score or 685, you're gonna have automatic FHA.
Hmm.
But if your credit is beyond 680 or 685, then you're able to be approved for a conventional loan as
Conventional.
long as you can put down the minimum down payment for it.
Okay. Very
Yes.
good. That's a very
And the
good.
and
So,
the down payment for conventional is 5%.
mhm.
The minimum down payment for conventional is 5%, and the minimum down payment for FHA is 3.5%. Sometimes it goes down to 3%, but most of the time it's 3%. Yes,
Wow, that's very good. Good, good, good. So let's just say 3.5% and 5% of the total amount of the home that you are trying to purchase.
correct, correct. Yes,
So that's still a pretty big amount. So you got to make sure you have some savings when you are trying to buy a home.
uh, exactly. Yes, of course.
Right, right. All right. Well, thank you so much for spending some good quality time with us. And if you are
You're
watching this
welcome.
on replay, go ahead and put your comment down below. I am going to dismiss Mr. Aristotle Castro. Any parting words, babe?
You know what? Just save, pay off your debt, and improve your credit score. And if you're buying a home, I would recommend you to hire the best possible agent that can help you out.
Mhm, mhm.
And maintaining your impulsive buying, think about it first before you do it. That might be able to help. It can help you out. And talk to your spouse if you're married. So
Right.
that's all.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and dismiss you, and I'll see you downstairs in a little bit.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, friends. So that is it for our series for Budgeting 101 Part 2 or Session 2. So I hope you can pick up on some of that. I want to make sure I'm focused. Okay. I hope you can pick up on some of the conversations that we're doing, right? I mean, we are a husband and wife, and we are open with our financial situation. And like I said, he is my financial guru. He teaches me a lot of things. And I should be receptive. I should be receptive, and I am, because his intentions are good. He doesn't plan anything bad for our family, and I trust him. So, and I hope that whatever we were able to share with you from the marriage standpoint is something that you can probably pick on, maybe pick some tidbits, a tip or two that you can apply in your own home setting. It is important that marriage is working, a complete marriage, a complete family household is the foundation of our society. And if we have families that are drifting apart, a husband and wife that are minding their own business, not even communicating well, doesn't know how to communicate their love languages, are not transparent enough, there's no financial infidelity, they don't understand each other, they don't have quality time together because they're working so much, because they have so many liabilities. All of those factors, you guys are not housemates, you're not roommates, you're not housemates, you're a husband and wife, and your responsibility is to form a good, lovingly family unit where you guys can grow into society. So there's no reason for you to be together if you are not spending good quality of time. And there's a lot of factors. We discussed it throughout the series of the month of September. We are ending our marriage series. We may continue it next week. We'll see. It just depends. But and I'm extending too. It's already 9:02. I just want to wrap it up for those of you that are watching on replay or still watching live right now. I hope that you learn from us. These are free sessions. And I know that there are a lot of successful people, more successful people out there that you can learn from. But my situation is something that is more digestible for you. For you, my friends out there, my situation is the same as your situation. Some of the financial gurus are up there. It's so hard to probably even reach out, or how do I get to your status? I mean, you're a real estate giant, and all these things that you're saying. But with us, we are here for you, friends. We are here, and we are on the same level. We started with nothing. Like Aristotle and I, we started off in an apartment. We were eating on the carpet with a towel because we were waiting for our first paycheck, not going to a furniture store to get to get a loan for our furnitures, right? We're waiting for our first paycheck to buy our first dining set from IKEA. And we were fine with that. We were okay. We were having a picnic. So this is us. This is how you will develop. And I love your comment, Erica. And thank you for sticking anyway. I mean, I don't get paid with all these sessions, right? I truly, truly just enjoy sharing tips that works for us, because I had posted today on Instagram that my heart is about to burst because of all the information that I have, and it really will benefit the society if we are sharing the things that we know. If only people will listen. We have friends and family members even that are in such financial problem and hole because they're not having that robust conversation with their loved ones, with their husband and wife, and they don't know what's going on from their financial status. They have separate mindset on how they're going to handle their financial status. And like I said, you are not housemates, you're not roommates, you are together. Thank you, Erica, for your comment here. That's very true. So important to keep an open communication, having trust. Absolutely. We're very much like plants in the relationship needs to be nurtured. Absolutely. Very, very true. And so if you are in that situation, like my very good friend here, if you're watching this on replay, check out her channel, the John's Kitchen. They show quick and easy recipes. Oh, it's so delicious. I think I'm going to go ahead and do your chocolate tart. We are about to go to the Asian supermarket this weekend, and I'm excited to see if I can find those ingredients there. Or we're just going to have some good quality time tomorrow and do some cooking at home. I'll take some pictures and send it to our Instagram group. So I don't know if I did it right, but my son is good at cooking, and I'm sure he's going to have fun with that. But if you are watching this on replay, go ahead and check out the John's Kitchen, and you will enjoy a lot of their videos, some quick, easy step process on the different recipes that they present to everybody. Free recipes that they're sharing their talent and all the things that they know to help out other people just have good quality time cooking with families, right? So same thing with us, free session, all of these things. We are sharing it with everybody. So if you have not subscribed yet, my friends, go ahead and click that subscribe button and push that notification bell so you can get notified on the next video that I'm posting. we will continue our weekly Friday night 8 p.m. Central Standard Time live stream. Just make sure you are checking out your time zone wherever you're watching from. I know a very good friend here, as she's in Singapore. I think right now is daytime over there, Saturday. And there's another one, Uncle Henry is coming from California. And so wherever you are watching from, because you're watching this on replay, just go ahead and make sure that you know that live stream comes out at 8 p.m. Friday night Central Standard Time. And for next month, I'm contemplating if we need to continue marriage matters or perhaps tips on how to get a job. So I know a lot of people has been furloughed or maybe laid off, and I myself, as a manager responsible for hiring people, terminating people, I can give you tips on the things that I am looking for before I can offer you a job. So that might be our series for the month of October. We got to wrap it up, friends, because the holiday season is coming up. Expenses are going to be coming up. We got to make sure we are securing our pockets. I know it's COVID situation. It's not going to be a lavish party during the holidays, but we are still going to be spending some money, giving out gifts or whatever family gathering that we're going to be doing, right? So we got to make sure we have money in our pockets. And the first step is to make sure you have a secured job where you can sustain the holiday and get through the holiday season. So that might be our series for next month. We will see. Make sure to check out my notification once I push it out on YouTube, and go ahead and set the reminder. Other than that, friends, I enjoyed the time with you. I really appreciate my other half for sharing all the information that he knows that are free and free information that I hope you can apply to your own lives, to your partnership, to your marriage. And our goal is for you to have a prosperous marriage relationship, thriving and not just being housemates or roommates, right? So thank you so much for your hour of time. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, wherever you're watching from. And if you're watching this on replay while you're washing dishes or whatever, thank you so much for listening, for giving me an hour of your time. We will conclude our live stream for tonight. Y'all take care and be safe. Until next time, I'll see you. Bye.